Let's do this. Hello, welcome to honest-wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. I'm joined by Adam, my co-host today. And as you can see, if you look at the side, the Twitch chat, we are not filming in the studio because the studio is too moist and warm right now. And instead, we're going to talk about... me and Adam are basically going to talk about his event experiences at Warhammer World. Because, as I was just saying a moment ago, Warhammer World is like the Mecca. Like, you might not think it... Have you been before this event?
Yeah, once. Like 4 years ago.
Okay. Like, so, the reason I bring it up is because for some people, especially we've got a lot of international listeners, they must be like, going to Warhammer World is like the dream.
Hashtag noob smashing.
Hashtag. We'll talk about that in a moment. So Adam just went to an event there this weekend. It's down the road from me, and I used to work there. So, like, I've got a whole bunch of emotions around that as an event space. But obviously Adam's slightly more fresh to it. And Adam has travelled the world going to events with me, and also has travelled all around the UK. So good experiences of that. And then I'm going to do the Stats Centre show later in the sweaty, warm office on my own. This is going to be too warm.
Not the sweaty office.
Not the sweaty office. Thank you everyone in the chat for resubscribing, like Reman Nightspear. Hello Blank Wizard. Thank you everyone. So, like, Warhammer World is a mecca. I know, Adam, you're never particularly phased by anything, but were you excited to go to, like, the home of the Warhammies?
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's quite cool, but I think I've been quite a lot now. Like, I've been to Warhammer World a fair few times. It's not quite as exciting. I mean, the first time I went, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing! And I went in the exhibition, and I was like, oh wow, look at the miniatures. But then the other problem is I don't really care about how things look.
Okay.
So like everything's really pretty, and I'm like, oh, that's nice, and then leave. Like other people are like, oh my god, I can stare at this miniature for 5,000 hours, and I'm like, pretty.
This is pretty.
This is nice.
Yeah.
And then
whenever I go around Warhammer World and someone just breezes past the cabinet, I'm like, oh, what are you doing? Like,
I do the exhibition in about 20 minutes. I'm like, that's nice. Oh, that's pretty. And then I'm done. I'm like,
I love the exhibition.
It is great.
It is great.
I try and I like the assassin display. We've got to try and find the assassin.
Oh yeah.
But then I get bored after 5 minutes.
I was going to say.
I also get very angry.
I was going to say the ADHD Kings are not going to do particularly well with that, right?
It just irritates me when like I don't find it, and then I get really pissed off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why is it not in front of me?
Okay. Well, so going to Warhammer World is quite interesting, especially like coming from the independent tournament circuit.
Yeah.
Yeah. The independent tournament circuit, so the ITC, not the international tournament circuit, which is the ITC co-opted by GW.
Not the ITC? The ITC.
Anyway, the independent tournament scene, the ITS. Yeah. Very different to IBS.
Very different.
Very different.
Although sometimes actually.
But both of them sometimes bung you up, right?
And make you very irritated.
Yes. Right. So they need more than the exhibition to make it a destination outside of events. Exhibition is great, but not enough archive. It's more like a catalogue and some displays. So the exhibition is actually, and Adam knows this, and I told you this before you went, hashtag just asking questions.
Just asking questions. That was my favourite Twitter weekend of all time.
So like that's actually where they store all of the heavy metal miniatures that they paint. So any books, so when you see a box art or you see something inside a battle tome, that's the actual like box art paint job. That's actually stored in the museum. So that's their clever way of doing storage and
Where
Where
are the cities of Sigmar, Rob?
Were they missing from the display?
I didn't go in.
They weren't in.
I didn't go in.
Oh.
I'm just asking questions.
Oh, hashtag just asking
Okay.
questions. So if you ever walk around and you see one of the armies missing, then it's probably gonna get a book in the next 2 years. Which is quite a long time. Like, it's not. You can't be really that sus about it. Like, you go in, you're like, see, the Fire Slayers aren't here. But, like, they may be getting a book in 4 years.
But also, I'm just asking questions, Rob.
Just asking questions. Yeah, of course it is. There was a whole cabinet of City Sigmar, so don't freak out. Okay, that's fine.
That's what you think.
Yeah, I really underestimate how big the displays are. And Leo says air horn for Steve Wren, making it a credible tournament.
Oh, Steve Wren is awesome.
Steve Wren is fantastic. Even though Steve, when you watch this, you're a thief. I really like Steve Wren actually. Like he's one of he's Steve. So Steve's wonderful. Steve used to just be. I think he actually used to be a teacher like you are.
Yeah, yeah. We had a great chat.
Yeah. So Steve's lovely. And he also used to be part of the Bad Dice podcast. So like he's been involved in like Warhammer for a very long time.
Yeah.
Then he went to Games Workshop and became their event manager. So I would say that the professionalism of the events there has upscaled massively thanks to Steve Wren, which is great because previously they were kind of a joke.
So yeah, I went obviously a couple of years ago before Steve was running it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have gone back.
Yeah.
And then this one, I probably would go back.
Okay.
So that's
pretty good.
Good.
That's pretty good.
And I think the funniest part of the whole weekend was my very first game. Obviously, in my list, I took 12 cockatrices. He comes over to look at the table, and I'm like, "Are you checking if they're 3D printed?" And he's like, "No." I was like, "You are.
You are though. You are though.
Like, it's all real." Because I'm an idiot.
That's amazing.
You just see like his face, like always like looking over at the table, like. I'm like, yeah.
Well, let's talk about your journey to Warhammer World, right? Like, little moment, because you pointed out something really important there. When you go to Warhammer World, it's all official GW miniatures, which, obviously, in the TSN arena, the home of the alternative miniature. Because
the hipsters of AOS.
Well, yeah, because last week we saw a purple sun. So in the event last week, we had a purple sun that was a flounder fish.
Pufferfish.
A pufferfish, yeah, for the Arnett Deepkin, which is beautiful. I love it. So what was the, did you have to, like, prep your army
well, so
knowing you were only using GW miniatures?
Luckily for me.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
Right,
Yeah.
I already owned 20 official cockatrices.
Okay.
So the cockatrices weren't a problem.
So the core part of your army.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay. I had official Ungor as well.
Okay.
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 I had an official Be'lakor.
Wow. It's quite pricey.
He was. But he's pretty.
Yep.
I had an official Great Bray Shaman. I didn't, though, have a Shagoff
Right.
or Dragon Ogres. Because the printed Shagoff and Dragon Ogres are 1,000 times better.
Oh, yeah, because you got the ones from Clay Beast Creation, right?
Yeah. And this week I went, oh, if I want to take this list, I need to get the official models. So I sent out loads of texts like, does anybody own these? And luckily, Luke had them for me, sent them across, and I painted up, slap chopped them.
Nice.
Slappy chopped.
Hashtag product placement. I don't know what the product is. One YouTube video.
That, yeah.
Yeah, that, anyway.
And I did 6 Dragon Ogres and a Shagoff in 4 hours.
That's good. That's good.
Oh, and a Chimera.
I did the Binkana in, I think it was 13 minutes, start to finish. I painted one. Looks fantastic.
I literally, I just sprayed them black, dry brushed, and then went, colour! Do they look okay? Oh, I've missed a bit. Whatever. The basing just got the texture paint. Fucking slap that on.
Did that. Okay, all right. So, like, because that's the thing, right? Like, you got to have all the official models. They've got to be WYSIWYG. Like, although in Age of Sigmar it doesn't matter too much, but I bet that like
the amount of times I just look at my opponent and I'm like, use your imagination. Okay, like this game isn't real. Right?
Yeah.
You have a frog that's casting spells at me. I'm sure my guy with a two-handed weapon can pretend it's double-handed.
Yeah.
Like,
That's fine. We can do that. So nice to hear you were doing that, not WYSIWYG. Okay, so I mean, because that's kind of a thing now, right? Especially with like I don't want to go into it too much. Sure, it's a very expensive hobby, and it's a hobby no one has to play unless you're like super neurodivergent and you're like brain rotted into obsessing and thinking about it all night, every night, like I am.
To play.
Yeah, like you don't have to play, but we both have to play.
I'm not even sure I enjoy it anymore.
Like I woke up in the shower this morning. I was like, yeah, the way I'll get 10 pink horrors in my list will be, and I'm like, I got out of the shower. I was like, stop thinking about it.
I was like, I literally didn't sleep last night.
Yes.
Because I was like, how could I have won that game?
Yes. Right. So you don't have to play, of course. But the point is, though, is the GW miniatures are obviously like getting pricier and pricier, as is life.
A wee bit expensive.
Yeah, inflation is up. Like we all have less expendable income at the minute. That's how it should work. So much less. So like it makes sense that like 3D printing becomes like I told you earlier. Like I really am not in a position where I think I can afford any Warhammer armies. Some YouTuber the other day was like, "Lol, you're in the wrong hobby." I was like, "No, I just don't get anything for free." Yeah, like as much or get £10,000. By the way, feel free to donate £10,000 and I'll play one army on stream. An easy thing to do.
What?
But the 3D printing, I think, is going to become more and more popular, right? Because the ease and access, and also the models.
Oh
right?
yeah, like some of the 3D print models now are just nuts. Like
Yeah.
I love all of the Clay Beast stuff.
Yeah.
Like his Beasts of Chaos. I mean, sorry, his Beasts of Destruction and Death, or whatever they are awesome and so much better.
Yeah, they're just
like
better.
His Jabba Slide. I mean, his monstrous
Jabba Slith. Nailed it. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's just insane.
Yeah. I think there was someone whose Patreon got shut down yesterday, actually, who did like a knockoff Bellicor. But the title for it was The Universe's Ultimate Centrist.
Amazing.
Yeah. That made me laugh alone.
You showed me last week. It was literally just Bellicor.
It was just Bellicor.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So his Patreon should have been shut down. That was fair. Right. Anyway. Okay. So ignoring that, so all official models. Okay. Now I have a thought about the meta going in. Was there a pack?
I think so.
You didn't read it. Perfect. Classic Warhammer player. Was it lists on the day?
Yes, but I submitted mine last week.
That's pretty weird. Lists on the day, right?
Yeah, I think you might have had to do it the day before. But again, I didn't read the pack, so I just submitted a list and rocked up.
Okay.
And then was also late because I didn't know the round times.
All right, nice.
So,
all right, perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, Pershaw, look after yourself. Lovely to see you. Hello to Nasaja Return. So happy to catch my favourite BattleTech channel live. No problem. Yes. I saw a box of BattleTech at the weekend, actually. Yeah, I didn't buy it. I asked the guy at the store. I was like, can I hold this for a joke? And he went, no. I was like, rude.
He definitely knew who you were.
I was like, can't wait to cancel that guy as well. I made 8 sock puppet accounts about him immediately.
Only 8?
Anyway, that's a side joke. So the pack, like, was there anything? Because actually there was an interesting thing that occurred. There was actually some house FAQ rules that were on the.
Was there?
Yeah. So you couldn't. There was a couple of tweet pictures. People saw them. So you couldn't own. Let me try and get them up. There, you couldn't own more. While I find them. What was the organisation like? Tell me about that bit. Was it on BCP? Like, how did it work?
Yeah, so it was on BCP. So that was pretty easy to use. I'm not a fan of BCP, but I think it's the best one out there at the moment, like tournament software-wise. So it was pretty easy to use. Like, you submitted your own scores. So once you finish your game, you didn't have to go up to the TO. You just literally put your own score in. They were pretty quick with chasing results as well.
Okay.
So like, if someone was a little bit late, they were very fast at chasing their results. The table organisation was great. Like, you knew exactly where you were going, when you needed to be there. I like how they've got the big projectors. So, like, you've got the round time and how long you've got left of the round really visible.
Yeah.
So like, it means that people can be like, oh mate, you just need to. We just be conscious of the time without being, you need to hurry up because we've only got 5 minutes left and you didn't realise. So that was pretty good. So like, I don't think I went over in any of my games. I think I finished pretty much every game with about an hour to half to spare.
That's fantastic. Was it 3 hour rounds?
2 hours 45.
Not perfect.
I just played my turns in
like
2
so look,
seconds.
There were some event rulings. Objectives and terrain. Is terrain an objective? No.
Really?
Can you control terrain and an objective with the same unit? No.
I assume this is all the desecrate lands.
I mean, it's an event ruling just on kind of like the whole event. Can you control terrain and objective with the same unit? No. Do expert conquerors count as 3 for controlling terrain? Yes. And can you control terrain on the first turn? You can control objectives? Yes. What upsets me, like, and just very quickly, is that obviously at Warhammer World, they have access to the studio. So I'm sure that this is basically an FAQ.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Frequently answered questions. So why isn't that just online for everyone else available as well at the same time? But
maybe it only came up in that day, and then it got announced that day, and maybe it will be.
Yeah, maybe. So there, Jog, look after yourself. Hello, Nick Lamborn in the chat, by the way. That's so nice. And also, thanks to Father Son Gaming AOS, just finished printing the entire Sons of Behemoth army from Mother. Then he smashed me with it. Legion don't like Sons, but then they don't like me. That's so funny. I printed you an army, then you beat me. Pretty rough.
Hilarious. Here's a new army. Please don't win.
Yeah.
Don't hurt me.
Yeah. Could it be a test run? I guess it's also a great opportunity for them to test rules out,
Why
right?
not, right?
Yeah, it's a good point.
Why not do it at a GT?
Yeah, that's where you test rules. Yeah, test them. Yeah, like, apparently the FAQ page is down today, so perhaps an update.
Ooh.
Nice. Spicy content for the spicy content god. Right, okay, so, you went to the event. What was your list? This is the important element because actually there's a lot to take in there because The infamous cockatrices list.
It was.
It was,
At this
yeah.
point, it is infamous.
Yeah.
You know, I've officially been net listed.
You've been net listed.
I've been net listed, so I've made it.
Okay, perfect. Congratulations.
I am a Warhammer hero now. So I'm very proud of myself. Well,
Is that what people who make net lists are? Heroes?
Yes.
Okay. I think they're just the first to read a book, but okay.
Has anyone else done the Cockatrice book? Army?
That's true.
How long has it been out for?
That's true.
Oh, a long time.
Okay. Have you read the book ever?
No.
Just read this War Scrolls.
I saw one War Scroll and went, woohoo! Do you know what the funniest part about this weekend?
Yeah.
Didn't have any of my GHBs or books.
Oh! Docking points, Steve. Docking points if you're listening. Kick him out. Like, kick him out. Anyway.
Hashtag Wahapedia.
Let me just check this on the app.
I just feel like this is just on the app, mate.
Chrome. Chrome is the app I'm talking about.
My whole GHB, all screenshots. I won't lie, I felt like Robin Hood.
Hey Rob, did you visit University of Nottingham the weekend? I was playing some games there. Yes, I did, Mr. Westlander in the chat. Hello, you should have said hello. Oh, I did. I went to there was what they called a historical wargamers board game event. Like, you know.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Like, whenever you go in, you're like, you're all 8,000 years old.
Really? Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I go and I get scared.
Oh, I was playing with the two fat lardies. Oh, nice. Okay, big shout out. Big love. Okay, so, yeah, you took cockatrices.
I did. I took, so the list was all herd subfaction with a Dragon Ogre Shagoth, a Great Bray Shaman, Be'lakor, who's amazing in the meta at the moment. So if you can fit Be'lakor in, take him. 6 Dragon Ogres in 1 unit because of the 4+ rally, and they're cheap as anything, like ridiculously underpriced.
Who the cockatrices?
No, the Dragon Ogres.
Oh, yeah.
125 points
for 15 wounds. Lol.
Every day of the week.
Absolute lols.
And then I had 2 units of 10 Ungor, and then 10 cockatrices. 10 cockatrices. And Geminids, which, again, I didn't cast the whole weekend because I forgot about it in 3 games.
So your army actually plays really interestingly. Like, I played against it. And I think, thank you to Birdie DJ in the chat. Just watched my Seraphon. I put my very first battle report online. You go check it out. It's called Tabletop in 10 Minutes. Hashtag tit. Hashtag. Are you telling me, Rob, that you spent 5 days editing a video down so it's a succinct and well-delivered piece of information on Age of Sigmar tournament so you could say hashtag tit at the end?
Yes.
No.
Right, no?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Look at yourself a relevant prime. Okay, so you went to the event. We should talk about some little quick elements. More specifically, table height.
Horrific.
Okay.
Way too low, and I'm not that tall.
Way too low, not that tall.
Like,
I haven't been there in a good long time, but I seem to feel like, as a 6-foot lad, that their knee height.
yeah, that's fair. Like, when the stalls are literally this big,
Yeah,
the tables are too short.
yeah. The stalls are so funny. The stalls
It
are
made
funny.
me feel tall though, so like that was a good confidence boost. Like, I come to this venue and I'm like, oh no, I can't reach the table.
Oh no. So then, what's next? So table heights. We've talked about organisation. That was good. Scenery. Were there any scenery rules?
There was actually.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so they put all the scenery out, which is all official GW stuff, obviously.
Of course.
Which some of it's actually really nice, and they've like converted it up so it looks even better than the actual official stuff. But on where it has your table number, on like the other side of that bit of paper, it's got a picture of every piece of terrain and a rule next to it of what it is and what it does. So like it was impassable terrain, there was wildwoods, they had garrisons.
Okay.
Like, so that was really good. And it was really clear to what things were as well. Yeah, really good. Like, I was not expecting like
Thanks for listening to the
levels
show,
of
Steve.
detail. It was great. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, 2 impassable, 2 wildwoods, 2 garrisons.
yeah. Are you an influencer? Did you do an influence?
Oh my goodness! Look, I might cry.
You should.
Oh, that's so nice for a man that's very barely let into the place. Yeah, that's great news.
You own the place.
Rent free, baby. So, okay, well, that's amazing. Okay, no,
But
number
it's
one,
really
that's
good.
fantastic. Whether or not you came up with them themselves, yeah, you listened to some other show, or it was just like an independently created like set of rules, like that's really good to see the actual company leading from the front. And again, as always, a huge shout out to Steve, leading from the front and saying, look, you should put some terrain rules on bits of terrain. Fantastic
I loved
stuff.
it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Like like playing terrain is really nice.
Oh yeah.
Like it actually makes it impactful.
Yeah.
So
right.
yeah.
Yeah, good. And nice that they're like it was like just 2 of each on every table.
Yeah. It was super easy as well.
All right, good. Okay. How was okay? Now this is now everyone in the US and Australia is about to like fucking chuckle their little balls off at us.
Okay.
How was the heat? So England doesn't have aircon, and we were not because all of the people in the governments were like, climate change isn't real. Yeah. And it seems really real today.
I don't really want to talk about the heat. So you walk in, right? You go into like the main reception-y area
Downstairs.
Yeah.
And that's aircon.
And I was like, oh my god, is this an aircon?
Is this an aircon?
And I was like, damn, cool. Okay. You walk up the stairs into the shop.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's still fairly cool. Okay. Here we go.
Yeah.
You walk into the venue and you're like, oh my god, where is this aircon gone? And it was 1,000 degrees and I wanted to kill myself a little bit. Especially on day 2 when I'd had a couple of beverages that night. A few. I wasn't feeling my best self on the Sunday morning.
That's fair.
Walking into that venue, I thought I was going to die. And I had to keep leaving my opponent. I had to be like, I need to go. Because the restaurant is also airconned. And my table was just literally next to the doors to it. So I'd be like, I need a break. I just leave, go into the restaurant for 2 minutes and be like, oh my god! Come back in and be like, oh wait, maybe changing the temperature about 5 times.
Yeah, that can't be good for you. At least that's what my nan told me. Like going from cold to hot, hot to cold, hot to cold. Like that.
Especially when I can't regulate my temperature because I was
under
definitely
the
not
influence
still
of
under
tiredness.
some kind of influence of anything at that point.
Yeah, was it how like I hate bringing this up. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to ask about the smell because I hate bringing that up.
Like that's fine because I stank. Like I was disgusting.
All right, fine.
And like I would consider myself fairly hygienic.
Yeah.
And if I couldn't control it,
the real question from me is how whiny was Richie in the morning? Never again. Anyway.
I'm being real with you here, Rob.
Rob, I'm being dead real now. This is a real wake-up call for me. I fucking love that guy.
We were out. Oh, all right, Richie. How's it going, mate?
Anyway, okay, so final bit, hand dryers, toilets.
Fine.
Fine.
Like,
fine,
innit?
I
almost got disqualified.
Who?
Why? What did I do?
Under those conditions, I know you could...
You almost got disqualified. Was it because I was late?
Wait, you almost got disqualified. What for? Being late or drunk?
I don't know. I'm really curious now.
That's fine.
And I can't wait to find out.
At least you know what your weapon profiles do. And then... anyway. Right, okay, so okay, just talk to me through the event. Who'd you play? How'd it go? Because you went 4-1, which is like, to blow the lead, which is pretty amazing. And also kind of like, because you played it a lot now, like, I think your army actually plays pretty uniquely. Yeah, and I think actually there's some real good lessons to learn competitively. You're the best Beast Chaos player in the world at the moment. Congratulations. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it's probably because I've done 4 events already.
Yes.
Like, so I don't want to like give it 6 months.
Yeah.
And then I'll see how I'm doing.
But my question to you is like who did you play and how did it play? And can you tell us like how your army played during those games, sort of thing?
Okay. First game I played against a Stormcast Eternals army. And I played a guy who... trying not to sound mean.
All right.
Oh
yeah, what was the meta like? I didn't ask about that. What was the meta like? Let me say this. The Warhammer World meta, it's the easiest place to go 4-1, 5-0 that you could ever go. Like, no disrespect, yeah, because it's full of like people who are like, I've been into Games Workshop games since I were a lad, and I've painted myself some fellas. And not that that's anyone that you played, but generally everyone who I've played there, including some plucky viewers.
There There was a few good players.
Yeah.
Like there was some good players.
Mm-hmm.
But like I think I had 2 hard games
Out of the 5.
out of 5.
Yeah. I mean, that's actually like pretty bang on. I think what we're really talking about is when you go to like a tournament, like pretty much if you're a casual player, you can't really expect to be like a super, like how many, you've done like 20 tournament games in like a month?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been to 4 tournaments since the new JHB.
Rob, you played. What happened, Rob? Rob, you played me there. You can't. No, you're not one of them, Rob. Obviously not you.
He's
okay.
talking specifically about you.
Obviously not you. Right? Okay. Also, Rob, by the way, was at an event this weekend, and he said it was so hot where he was playing, he just went outside and threw a bucket of water over his head and continued to play. I personally don't think we should be playing like war games in those conditions.
We could have had a wet t-shirt competition.
That is not going to go
I would
well.
have won. Like I definitely could have won that.
Oh, I don't know. Ray was there. Ray's gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
Ray's gorgeous.
Ray.
Ray is hot.
I vote Ray.
Yeah, I vote Ray too. Anyway, okay, please continue.
So game 1, played Stormcast, and the guy, it was definitely, he basically said to me, this is an army I have painted.
Yeah.
Right, like, you know, it was painting amazingly. It was an okay list. Like, he had a Prime, he had some Vindictors, but then he had 2 Celestar Ballistas, which I don't think I've seen in about 3 years.
Yeah.
And
Wait, yeah, what? Oh boy.
and
The connoisseur's pick.
9 Vanquishers? Is it
What are
the
they?
crossbow guys? The new crossbow lads?
What? They're a new crossbow.
Is
What?
it
Long strikes?
Vanquishers? No, not long strikes.
Judicators?
No,
What?
the other ones.
They're on what?
I've never seen them before.
They just crossbowmen.
They just got crossbows, I think.
That's not a unit. You're talking about castigators.
No, castigators are ghostly
Vigilers?
vigilers.
That's also not a unit, is it?
Honestly, at this point, you could say something and it's probably a Stormcast unit. Like anything.
Like the guy at the restaurant last night. How much you want to pay? £3. All right, perfect. Thanks for you paying your bill. Anyway, carry on.
Let's not talk about my thievery. Uh-oh. So yeah, I played this guy. The thing is, his list was actually really good against me because it's all rend 1 shooting at least. And my army only has a 6+ save.
Okay, nice.
So I was like, oh baby. But then it was Prize of Gallet, so the mission where it's 5 objectives on the board, and you have to, if you go second, you can activate one.
Featuring in a handy battle report you can see on the honest-wargamer.
Which was a very good mission for me, because I can control the board space really well, because the cockatrices are monsters, they all count as 5.
Right, time to talk about how your army plays, because actually this is really interesting. Maybe slightly unique to the Beast of Chaos and the Cockatrice build.
Okay.
Because, so they're all monsters, right? And you've got 10 of them.
Yep.
So effectively, you've got 50 wounds, 50 points worth of objective scoring in your army.
That's not including Be'lakor and the Shaggoth, who are also monsters.
Okay, so
60.
So
and
60.
the Dragon Ogres, which all count as 2. That's another 12, so it's 72.
Okay, all right, so perfect. So, like, if I was to just run, 100 one-wound dudes, yeah, then I've obviously got 100 points worth of scoring.
To put it into context, I can outscore Gargants.
Yes, that which is their main shtick, right?
Yeah.
They stand on an objective and they score, right? So what you do effectively is someone's got, like, because you talked about this on the Monday show the other day, but we haven't had like the opportunity to really deep dive it. But what you would do is, like, you didn't kill much.
2 weeks ago, I was at the Shropshire GT, and in 5 games, I had less than 2,000 kill points.
Okay, but out of 10,000.
Out of 10,000.
Out of 10,000.
In 1 game, I only killed 125 points.
Okay, amazing.
Basically that's the same story as this weekend.
Yeah.
Because my army, yes, the potential output is stupid, right? Because Cockatrice is on a 4+, they do D6 mortal wounds. So I've got a potential of 60 mortal wounds.
Okay.
Usually about 4. Okay, so like, but obviously...
you roll like Sean from the USA, Nuke Doctor. He's always like, I've got 6 dragons. And you're like, how many mortal wounds they do? They're like, sometimes, Rob, 3.
Yeah, like, I'm like, but when I get like 4, I'm like, oh baby, here we go. So the potential is really good, but it actually doesn't do any real damage, because they can't go into combat, because they'll just die.
Yep.
So essentially what you do is, your opponent puts X amount of models on the objective, and all you do is you move enough cockatrices on to take it off them,
Perfect.
and then hope you don't die.
Nice.
Now, because they're single units and they all have 8 wounds, your opponent's then got to be thinking the math of how to kill enough, and usually they either over or undercommit.
Right, yeah, and because like if someone's built themselves a big Death Star,
Yep.
sure they can absolutely kill 2 cockatrices on an objective,
Yep.
but then they're over there on that objective,
Yep.
away from the other 8 that you've got,
Yep.
plus the Dragon Ogres, plus everything else you've got.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So like
interesting.
you can really, you can basically take an objective without costing yourself anything.
Okay, that's
So
fascinating.
like, let's say someone's like, so I played 6 Storm Fiends. Like 6 Storm Fiends is like 500 and something points, like nearly 600 points.
Yeah.
Right. And I needed 2 cockatrices and 2 Dragon Ogres on the objective to take it off him,
Yes.
and that was it.
Wow.
And that's all I had to do. I didn't have to engage him. I didn't have to do any damage. You just take the objectives. And let's say, because the cockatrice is a 12-inch move, in some missions where people have only put, say, 5 models on the objective, or even, like, sometimes even just 1 model clipping it, I can just move 1 cockatrice and say, that's mine now.
Yeah,
And
then,
I've now scored more.
And then they have to commit like, because like if you got like 10, I don't know, like 10 free guild halberders, not that anyone fucking has them, but like let's say you got 10 dudes, like they probably don't do 8 wounds,
No.
like your little 10-man unit. So now you're not committing your support piece wizard, you're not committing your general probably, like unless it's like, because then you've got like some real gross overestimation, right? Like if you, let's take some like classic lists. If you've got like Marathi and the Bow Snakes, sure, Marathi will kill 1.
Yep.
Like, and if she can get into more, but you'll try and make it so
But
she can only...
so the way I play it, she will never get into more than 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Because you screen with 2 to protect 4.
Yeah.
So like it's all about that trading game.
Yeah, okay.
So like I will, send 1 out to block the board space, or that's why I've got the 20 Ungor, or yes, you've killed 10 cockatrices, but hey buddy, I've got 30 summoning points.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, interesting. Oh, shout out to Darren who's in the chat. So I'm going to be in Canada next weekend. Well,
Nice.
this weekend coming, sorry.
Yeah.
At Capital City Bloodbath. There is an Age of Sigmar event that's there as well. So I think there might still be tickets. So if you get the opportunity to go to Ottawa, if you're Canadian and you want to go there, but there's also we're going to be doing 40k coverage this weekend. Now I know, like everyone listening to Age of Sigmar Stats Center, by the way, is probably not going to be interested in 40k, but I've got probably the greatest crew ever.
Okay.
Yeah. We got Pete the Falcon's going to be doing actual table commentary with me, and imagine he's kind of like the me and you, of 40k, but he's smarter than both of us. Like,
Yeah,
that's no
that
disrespect
man
to
is
you.
like.
Yeah,
I've seen
smart.
a adjacent.
Yeah. And then in the field, we've got Mr. Val Heffelfinger, who's just like liquid. He's kind of like the OJ of 40k. Yeah.
Yes.
So he's just going to be smoothing along, asking questions. Yeah, big, and then we got a big production crew. We got Tom and a bunch of other guys. So like actually, and then Darren, who runs the event, is just fantastic. So like, it's gonna be mint. Yeah, and he's also on the show tomorrow.
Sweet.
Also on the show tomorrow. So
How
that's what I'm
exciting.
talking about. Yeah. I just thought I'd mention it. Anyway, sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, like you just like see cockatrices, they just like trade really well, and like they're really hard for opponents to deal with because I've got 80 wounded cockatrices. And then they've got to also think about the summoning, because the summoning is like the key mechanic. So I think a lot of beast players, when they have their summoning, they get very excited. They're like, oh my god, I can summon 3 Enlightened. But that's 7 points of your summoning, whereas 3 Ungor or 10 Ungor is 3 points. So I'd rather just have bodies than damage, because bodies get objectives, damage doesn't.
Okay.
So like, if I've got, let's say generally I don't spend any summoning until turn 5. And at that point, I've got 20 to 30 summoning points, usually. And that's either a Chimera and 30 Ungor, or it's, 6 cockatrices, or, if I'd really want 100 Ungor.
Yeah, so just to like, with summoning in Age of Sigmar, most of the modern books, you can only summon a single unit per turn, per phase. Yeah, but with the Beast of Chaos, you can summon multiple units, and it's quite cheap, because they gave them an update in the White Dwarf, so you can generate more summoning points.
You generate so many so quickly.
Yeah.
But I take the grand strategy, which is take what's theirs, to have more units in your opponent's territory than they do.
Oh, so there's a super cute trick with this, right?
Yeah. And it doesn't say on the grand strategy starting army.
Yes.
So it just says have more units in their territory than they have.
And this is at the end of the battle.
Yeah, end of the battle that you score 3 additional points. Now, 3 points in the game right now is nuts. Like, most games that I've played come down to about 3 or 4 points.
Yeah, so like Adam's right. I think that like right now, Age of Sigmar, like if you drop any points, you're in some real trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because I generally know that I'm going to drop one battle tactic during the game, because I find the killing battle tactics too tricky.
Yeah.
I know that I need my grand strategy to, counteract the fact that I've to counteract that I failed a battle tactic.
Yeah.
Because obviously 2 points versus 3 points, that's a 1 point. I'll get 1 point more essentially.
Yeah.
And if I can stop my opponent's battle tactic as well, I'm probably going to do quite well.
So you're effectively gaining 3 points, yeah, and they're losing 3 points. So it's a 6-point swing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so in the turn 5, I can essentially guarantee my battle tactic. And if they've got a battle tactic, which is something like take what's theirs, I could also summon it in their half and my half, stop theirs and get
Grand
mine.
strategy, you mean? Grand strategy, yeah.
So there's lots of like cute little plays that you do with summoning in that turn 5.
And for the stats nerds at home, take what's theirs as a grand strategy is currently the most picked 26% of the time.
Literally, it's probably the easiest one.
It's definitely the easiest one. Like, it seems like a no-brainer. So, like, what's clever is you've built a list to play into the current meta as is, but also to deny 3 points for your opponent at the end of the game, which is pretty interesting because I bet that they're thinking all the way through the game, oh, like, I've still got turn 4. They're like, I've still got those units.
Yep.
I'm going to outscore. So you can either bring it on. So, like, do you always try and get both? You'd be like, okay, 3 points for me, and then deny you 3 points.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, okay,
yeah,
so
because like usually at the end of the game, I've got like 4 models left, and they're like, haha, I've tabled you, and I'm like, seeing how many summoning points I've got.
Yeah.
Like, I have a new army. Like, I'm ready. Like,
but again, you're not trying to kill them. You're trying to, okay. That's it.
so
See, because I think that's actually a fascinating, like when I played against it, I was like, wow, this is amazing. Because like, again, like we talked a little bit earlier, like offline, like my Tzeentch army isn't super good at holding objectives. My follow-up question is, with this army, like, do you think this is unique? Do you think any other army can play the same way, do you think? Or is it just because they're all monsters, right, which is super unique? I don't think there's anything else that can have multiple monsters.
No, I think it's a fairly unique army. Like, I don't think many other armies can do it that well. But it gives you an idea of how I think the game should be played at the moment. I think you don't really need to worry about killing things, especially when people are taking all these Death Star units. Like, you're seeing like 9 Storm Fiends, 30 Blade Guys. Like, people are investing big in one unit that does a lot of output. So if you can negate that by taking lots of, well, MSU units, so lots of small units, then you can sort of negate their output and sort of just scoring objectives.
Okay, so really good on the primary, which is like supporting objectives. Like, what about battle tactics? Like, does that become a problem?
So battle tactics is tricky.
Okay.
Because I've got 3 in the book. I've got 3 that are fairly easy.
So
which is
the
against the odds.
core ones.
Yeah. So against the odds, mega easy.
Yeah.
Barge through enemy lines, super easy. I can usually do that one turn 1 or 2. Desecrate lands, easiest battle tactic in the world because I can just summon a unit.
Amazing.
Onto one of their pieces of terrain.
Yeah.
And then I've got 2 usually that I've got to do kill things. Whereas this, the Warhammer World event was the first one that I could use my
book battle tactics.
Book battle tactics.
Yeah.
And I forgot and kept doing the core rules. I've played 3 tournaments now where I haven't been able to do book tactics. So like, I then went, oh wait, I've got one that I take an objective with a summoned unit. Lol.
Difficult.
Okay.
Difficult.
So that one like gave me 4 pretty easy battle tactics, which then I can usually say to myself, I'm going to fail 1 because a kill battle tactic for me is really tricky to achieve.
Yes.
Because I have to either go for an eye, which I've always got because someone's always killed one of my units every time.
Yeah.
Or the gaining momentum, which is the pick one unit, kill it, and hold more objectives, which I'm going to have more objectives than you.
Yeah, of course.
So like, but those 2, they're kill ones, which is quite tricky for me because I don't have one of those units that can go, I can guarantee I kill that.
Yeah, of course.
So, I usually drop 2 points.
Okay, interesting.
I think over the 5 games this weekend, I dropped 6 or 7 battle tactics.
Which is, okay, which is quite a bit. So, a little bit more than 1 per game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think in 2 games, I dropped 2 battle tactics.
That's quite interesting. So
but one was my own
Are you
fault,
always keeping an eye on the points?
Yeah. You have to literally like you have to know that you can outscore them on the primary enough to not need your battle tactic. So if I'm scoring more and they're only scoring 1, I'm getting that 2 points back.
Okay, we had a couple of questions in the chat, if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
You are an influencer now.
I am.
The cockatrice man.
I am.
How do you deal with something like Megakin or Fire Slayers, Giant Death Ball, or stuff, the Lurkers below, or Realmstone Cache? Seems like the scenarios with low numbers of objectives you struggle with Death Balls.
So Fire.
By the way, can we just talk about Death Balls over Death Stars? Great name. Death
quite
Ball
funny,
sounds friendlier.
It does. I just like Death Star.
Yeah, Death Star. Death Star is the kind of classic gaming terminology.
right?
Yeah.
Fire Slayers is pretty easy because they're so slow. And I can just screen them out.
And it's rubbish book.
And yeah, like they're not very good. So Fire Slayers is mega easy. It's one of the reasons I've got Be'lakor in the list. Because I can I can screen out a unit or tag them with Dragon Ogres. Once they're out, they get Be'lakored.
Yeah.
So I can essentially shut a unit down for 3 turns.
Perfect.
Which like most people would have like when you use Be'lakor, it's usually 1 turn, right?
Yeah.
But because of the way my army plays, I can literally shut one of your units down for about 3 to 4 turns, which is insane. Like it's just stupid. No one should be able to do that.
Agreed.
So like I played who's I played? I played an IDNF player.
Yeah.
He had the Incarnate, and it didn't do anything for 3 turns.
Because you just use Be'lakor.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about this already, right? Be'lakor stonks on the rise,
Like
more and more.
So good.
Yeah, so good, so good. Like, I mean, there's always been good. There's another question: is what is the kind of nightmare couple of lists for you that's out there, or like cookie cutters that really stress you?
Maggotkin is pretty tricky, but only the flies. The fly list, well, I played that.
Best list in the game at the moment, in my opinion. Best list in Age of Sigmar.
And it's just got enough rend and speed to be able to stop me, and because it flies, it can get over my screens.
Yeah.
So like that was pretty tricky. I think if I played better, I could have done quite well. Any shooting list that has rend is quite tricky, but also manageable because I can sort of deal with it with the summoning. So like that's not too bad. But I think the worst is Maggotkin. Fox spam I was very hard, but I did manage to beat it by 1 point, which was good.
Congratulations.
And obviously the Fox list is pretty hard, right?
Very hard, yeah.
So,
and they're at a 50% win rate at the minute. Like Lumineth never went away as a powerhouse.
But the thing with like Lumineth and the Foxes only count as 2.
Yeah.
I count as 5 with 1 guy.
Yeah,
so they can be as fast as they want, they can kill as much as they want, but I still outscore them. So, you know, like it's fine. Like when I played the Lumineth Foxes, I killed like 300 points. I killed like 10 Wardens and the Law Seeker, and that was it.
Yeah.
And they were like, I still got 30 Sentinels. I was like, fine.
That's fine, I don't care. Yeah, right. So like, I kind of agree with you. This is kind of like, at the time of recording, we had a little chat in the coffee shop this morning. I think Fly's currently probably the best. It's interesting. We looked at the stats before we came online as well, right? They were at 1.10% of the meta. They're now 4.5%. Well, they were like 9.5%. They're now 4.5%. And their win rate was massive. And I just don't see how they've got worse. I don't think they've got worse.
Can we like not talk about it so no one hears?
Right.
I like that it's only 4.5%.
We'll shut up.
I hate flies.
It's the worst,
like,
but like
just being able to pre-game move the A, move another A, charge, win.
Well, we also saw Emma Mangles at Worlds. Like again, we talked about it. Like Seraphon, 56% win rate. How do you beat Seraphon? Like we literally saw Emma do it. Yeah, like at Worlds, we just saw her just throw all the flies in. Yeah, and just win at Worlds.
And like genuinely, Seraphon had one of the best output in the game.
Yeah, or at least like they're able to like remove themselves from that, but like
they just couldn't get out of it.
Yeah,
like, Seraphon can't get out.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I think people are right. I think the reason we're not seeing it is it's boring. But then like it's a tournament, right? Aren't you there to win?
Yeah.
Like maybe everyone's just got like Age of Sigmar at the minute seems very cavalier in list building, and you're a good example of that, right? So, like, with loads of opportunities, maybe people just like, maybe I don't need to.
But it's like a new JHB, isn't it? Everyone wants to be a hipster for the first few weeks, don't they?
Yeah, they do. That's true. Everyone wants to be like a super cool hipster.
Yeah.
You're right. Like, and maybe
and then they start losing, and then they go, maybe I'll just netlist?
Maybe I'll just get some flies? Question mark. Getting the models in Australia is super hard at the minute. Yeah, I mean that's something like we talked about at the top of the show. But obviously, the other thing I was going to talk about with 3D printing is we also have like distribution issues, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of key as well. We just saw go live today. The Incarnate no longer sold in the £135 box. Danger players of the game, and is now available in just a like it's single box on its own, and it's like £35. So if you buy it from like, thanks to Owen for resubscribing. If you buy it from like a third-party retailer, it's going to be close to 25 quid, right?
Danger. Straight danger zone. Although I have to say, I've played like 6 or 7 incarnates now in tournaments.
Yeah.
Actually fine. Bearing in mind my entire list is monsters.
I think it's one of those really unique things, and I'm one of these people who doesn't really often say this very much. Because the argument that like Master of Magic Arcane Tome is such a full statement. Like, oh, it makes the worse armies better, but it makes the good armies better.
Yeah.
Like, so like it's always silly. However, with the Incarnate, I think it doesn't necessarily make the better armies better, because you're spending so many points.
Yeah.
Like on your overlapping allegiance abilities, and I think it might be one of those things that genuinely does bring a poorer performing army up potentially.
Well, like Slanesh list recently, right? They've all been taking incarnates,
of course,
and doing fairly well.
Yeah.
KO, they've been taking incarnates, doing alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're fine. You just got to know how to play against one. Like the first time you play it, it's the worst experience ever. Like, well, the first time I played it, I was like, I hate this. But then like being able, like after playing it quite a few times, it's become manageable. It's irritating, but it's just one of those like problems that like have to just deal with.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, it is, and I think it's like, yeah, I'm with you. Like I think every time I've used it badly.
Yeah.
So there's that as
Because
well.
I like playing like around it and like using the 10-inch Revox charge bubble that it's got.
Yeah.
For my army.
Yeah.
That's fun. And tagging things that are in the 10-inch bubble so that they can't retreat either.
Yeah. So it's affecting the game at the minute. I'm not really. I don't know how we did that show, didn't we? Like the other week, where it was like where the game is at right now, and I think it's just in a great place, which I think is
like
interesting.
genuinely. Like I've had.
If I'm able to say I don't know, I think the game's in a great place.
My last 4 events that I've been to, I had like 1 bad experience game.
Yeah.
And that was it. Like because most of the armies I've been able to play against, I've been able to deal with. It's more as long as you pick the right missions for your event, people will have a great time and it will be fairly even.
Missions is difficult. Were there any spicy missions?
They played the instant win mission this weekend, which if you know the mission, you will win every time.
Mm-hmm.
So I've not lost that mission yet. There's some cheeky tricks that you can do with it.
Yeah.
So that was pretty easy, and my army's quite good on it because, again, like I said, I'm fantastic at taking objectives. So I've got no issues with actually, sorting it out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like in that mission, you can't take any objectives turn 1.
Yes.
So if you win the priority into 2, always give it away, no matter what. Even if you're just about to get smashed by a double turn, give that turn away, and make sure you set up to be doubled if that's the case, right? Because if you give the turn away, you can make their home one the proving ground, and if they've got no Galician veterans, they cannot take it, which means now they cannot win till turn 5.
Nice.
Right? And you can take your home objectives in their turn 2. So then in your turn 2, you can then take the middle objective.
Love that.
And if you win the priority into turn 3, you also win, because you then take their one.
Love that as well.
Whereas they can't do anything till turn 5, because if you make theirs the proving ground, they can't take it. They can't take it in turn 2. They can't take it in your turn 2. So then they have to wait till turn 3 to take it. Then they have to wait till either turn 3 or turn 4 to take the middle objective. And then they can't take the final one till turn 5.
Amazing stuff.
So just by giving that priority away, you either give yourself an out until turn 5, or you win the game turn 3.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
Love that. It's clever.
And the
really
funniest
like
one is when you bait your opponent. So I always, when I played it this weekend, I tried to bait my opponent with the double turn. I was like, if you win the turn, you're going to be so tempted to take the turn because you're going to smash my whole army off. But I knew that I had summon in to do. I had tricks that I could still survive because I only needed like 6 models. Do you know what I mean? Like I didn't need anything. And people get the fun thing about the cockatrice list is it's so killable. Your opponent's like, I'm killing so much, and I'm like, yeah, you are, buddy. Good job.
You're having a great time. Well done.
You do you, bro.
Yeah.
And I was like, if he won the priority, I think he would have taken it to just come in and smash. But in turn 1, I tagged the incarnate. I'd screened out fairly well, but he still would have had the output to be able to kill like 8 cockatrices.
Amazing.
But it wouldn't matter because I'd still have my home one. I'd then be able to take the middle one, and then turn 3, I'd be able to take his one.
Okay, that's super clever. That's super clever. I love that because I think some people aren't going to see that necessarily. They're not going to understand it, and I think that's where again that experience comes in. Just talking about the results. Like we're going to do that on the Stat Center later. But a little interesting side note. I saw this little thing. A Best in Bracket Awards.
This was great.
This is great.
I really like this.
This is great. They should do this more at events. This is a great idea for events, I think.
The only one I don't like is the 0-5 one. You were the best loser. Yeah.
0-5 is the best award. I'm just going to say it out right now. 0-5 is fantastic. Yeah, it's a cool idea. I'm glad they came up with it. This is good. I might use this in my tournaments.
Yeah?
I might. I don't know.
You think?
I think. Trailblazers. Yeah, I might use it in these tournaments, and I might award myself the 3-2 award. That's what? I might do.
After saying you drop?
Only if I went 5-0.
No, that's not what you said
Only
at all.
if I went 5-0.
I'm the spare player.
Only if I went 5-0.
5-0.
Okay, so Best in Bracket Award, which is pretty funny. So if you guys don't know what a Best in Bracket Award is like because obviously was it win rate differential?
What?
Like what was the win
wins,
loss draw?
Then the 20-0 system.
Win rate differential. Fucking Steve's a ledge.
Yeah.
I love that guy. Steve's like this makes sense.
It was really funny because so I was the instant win mission. I was the very first person to finish.
Yeah.
Because I just literally just went boom, boom, boom. I win the game. Thank you very much. And then left. Right. I was done in like 40 minutes. Okay. And I walk over to Steve and I was like, "How are we scoring this mission?" He went, "Oh no." Because he had like he put the instant win mission and it always like hadn't thought about how to score it.
Oh right, really?
Because it's quite a tricky one to score, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't get a differential.
You don't
just get a win.
Yeah, yeah.
So like we had a good chat about it actually, and it was like, do you just go? Because you can either do one or two things. You can see the battle tactics and try and do a bit of a differential, or you just go 20-0 for getting the major. And because we had a chat, and like actually, if you just give all the people that win the 20-0, it doesn't actually change anything.
Yes.
Like through the because the first two games will still have that differential. So I basically went to him. I was like, just give people 20 points.
Okay. I think the 20 points that you maybe got the conversation about, which maybe you thought about differential, was probably what he gave for the major win.
Yeah.
Versus a minor win.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because if you got a minor on that one, he gave both players 10-10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, fantastic. Yeah, okay.
But you still got a win in your first tiebreaker.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Well, I love that. I love that. So, like, I mean, it's an expensive ticket, but would you go again?
So I would, but it's hard to justify £70. Like, I think it's probably worth the £70 ticket price, probably, because I mean you do get lunch, but Bugman's is also really expensive. So like, it's a really expensive tournament.
Yeah.
And like for me personally, like I can't justify that type of money. So I would go again if I had the income, but I don't. So probably not. Like it's not worth how much you end up spending.
I mean, because it's a free space for them, right? Like they pay staff, but other than that, like it's a capture art. But like you would expect to be getting a lot back. Like when I went to Summer Slaughter, like not Worlds, obviously, all the prizes. But Summer Slaughter, like they was giving away like crazy, like, but they got the venue for free, I'm pretty certain. But they were giving away crazy amounts of prizes.
Well, it's just like your 2-dayers, they're fairly expensive, right? What is like 60 quid?
60 quid.
Yeah, like to me that's a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah.
But you have a free bar because you put the drinks money in the ticket
price.
Right? So that I can be like, actually, realistically, that's like a 30 quid ticket at that point because I'm gonna drink. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, whereas like Warhammer World is 70 quid, and then I think I bought one round of drinks for like 3 people, and it was over £20.
The expensive pints.
Yeah, like it was like £6 a pint or something stupid.
No.
It was like £5 something. And then I wanted like
that's crazy.
a couple of smaller drinks. Shorts are the ones,
as they call them.
And yeah, I bought 4 of those and a pint. It was like 24 quid. Yeah, I didn't buy anything after that. After that, I was like, hey, you're a really nice opponent. Do you want to buy me a drink?
You killed all my cockatrices. You owe me a drink.
Or it's just like, you know when you can play that nice guy. Like, oh my god, we had such a good game. And then they see you later. Do you want a drink? And I'm like, yeah, I do.
I mean, the real question is, do they serve White Claw?
They did not.
Well, then there are laws to stop the claws.
There were too many laws.
There were too many laws and not enough claws. That's the real answer.
Owen, you'll be proud of me. I had 14 over there on Saturday.
I don't think I'm not proud of you. Like, right? Okay. So follow up. The game at the moment, like I'm like Warhammer World's always a very soft meta, right? And by the way, if you're from Warhammer World or even thinking about going to Warhammer World, that isn't an indictment. That's actually a positive.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I feel like if there was a bunch of like independent tournament sharks going to Warhammer World to smash some babies, like that's just unnecessary. Like I feel no, but do you know what I mean? Like I feel like you need to like there needs to be like when they go there, that should be like the best representation of the hobby. There should be some sweet armies. There should be some good sports, and it should be a good game.
Like for what it is, it's a good event.
Yeah, that's
like,
what I mean.
Do you know what I mean? Like I know exactly what you're saying. Like, but like you know, but like it's not a tournament for me.
Yeah,
If that makes sense. Like I prefer to go to one of yours or some independent event. That's just what I prefer.
Yeah.
I literally went to this one because I'm on my holidays and I had a weekend free.
And you were like, let's go. Yeah. But like, so my point is like just thinking about the meta for now. Yeah, as a regular tournament goer and best Beast of Chaos player, and maybe one of the top players in the UK at the moment. I think in the top 10 at least. What do you think of the game at the moment? Like, what is like if people wanted to get into an army right now, what would you get? And if
10 cockatrices.
No, but seriously,
it's actually a really hard list to play. So like, if you do end up buying this list, you need practice.
Okay.
Like, it's really difficult.
Yeah.
Like, but no, I think the game is in the best place I've ever played it.
Okay.
Like I played Thunder Lizards at the weekend, and I wasn't going, oh, for God's sake, like why am I here? Like, what is the point? Because you know when you used to get a Thunder Lizard matchup, and you'd be like, well, what's the point of me even being here?
Yeah.
Like, I actually went into it. I was like, you know what? I've got play. I can do this. I can play the mission. I can do that. Most of the missions in the JHB are actually really good.
Okay, good.
I prefer the fact that there's more score 1-2 more missions now.
Okay, yeah.
Because I didn't really like the old missions where it was like you scored points.
Oh, no, I didn't like that either.
I love
the
the 1-2 more.
Just commit to that.
Yeah.
We're in that
like,
now. Let's go.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I think the subtle differences between the missions is massive. And I love the missions. I think they're great. There's a couple of bad ones, but who cares? Right, you're gonna have some bad missions. But some armies play into those well.
In my head, there are 7 bad ones.
to me, there's 2.
No, they're not bad. They just need FAQing or changing. Like,
yeah.
You know the one where you get like points for having Galician veterans. Just FAQ that out.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't need to be in there. Like, you know, there's just silly things.
But then
like that.
for me, like that's a good mission. Even though it's like ridiculous, it's a good mission as long as you take that into consideration. I don't like the fact you have to take it into consideration.
Fair.
But I still think it's a good mission.
Yeah.
And then I quite like. I don't like the Lurkers Below. Not Lurkers Below. I love that one because I win. The one that's the quarters. I don't like the quarters.
But you can't
mission.
teleport.
Yeah, I hate that mission.
That wasn't. You weren't playing that this weekend.
No, I didn't. I didn't play that one this weekend. I just thought it was terrible.
It is terrible.
I played it twice now. Didn't enjoy it.
Just throw that in the bin.
Like, get it out.
Yeah, throw that in the bin. Yeah.
And I think, honestly, those are the only couple that I don't like.
Okay, so other than the cockatrices, though, which army did you say people should pick up and play?
I think Maggotkin flies. I mean, if you want to win, just take that.
Maggotkin flies.
Like, if you want to win, just play that. It's not hard to play. Just roll 5 pluses. Like,
I mean, 4 pluses first.
Yeah, 4 pluses, 5 pluses, win the game. I think there's a couple of like cool Seraphon builds that are quite fun that you can do, like Draco's Tail Salamanders.
I mean, the Draco Tail Alpha is like
that's going to be great.
Amazing. I don't know why no one does that. Like, it's like that's pure aggro. That's like 60% of the time you win every time.
Yeah.
Like, that's like.
I mean, just taking dragons again. I don't know why they've dropped off. They're still great.
Maybe Purple Sun reduces rend is like the save is maybe like the issue. I don't know.
They're still great. They're still 3-2-4-1.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you still just run forward, flame people off, charge them,
go home, have a great time,
have a lovely time.
have a lovely time. Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
But honestly, I think one of the best armies in the game at the moment is Beast Chaos.
Agreed.
Like, I think just being able to the summoning ability is just stupid.
Unless people listen to me and
stupid.
actually take some Horrorghast in their list, like.
Even Horrorghast is fairly. You can deal with it.
It depends. Like, yours is a very unique Beast of Chaos.
Yeah,
I think the Dragon Ogres lose immediately as soon as there's a Horrorghast.
But then
on the
because
board.
you have the amount that run away, it doesn't actually make it too bad. Because even if you roll a 3, I'm still only losing 1 extra. round down with it, I think.
Yeah, but then you add D3 with Horrorghast.
Yeah, let's say, so if I can't Inspiring Presence, right, and let's say I roll to lose 2, you add 3, that's 5, I only actually lose 2. Which actually isn't too bad.
No, but I'm still super happy you can't use Inspiring Presence and lose 2 Dragon Ages.
No, I'm with you. It's good. I just think like it's manageable.
Yeah.
That is what I'm trying to say.
Fair. That's fair.
But yeah, I think like there's. It's really weird 'cause I genuinely think most books have play at the moment. Like, and I don't think I've ever been able to say that.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think that there's loads of play.
There's only about 3 or 4 books that I think aren't good at the moment.
Okay, so which ones do you think aren't good?
Gits.
Correct.
Crawl Boys.
Correct.
Probably. I'm trying to think. Oh, no. Ogres.
Yeah, also
still
correct.
kind of not great.
Yeah.
But like you can still smash things with Stonehorns and have a lovely time.
Yeah, you can go like 2-3 and have the best time.
I mean,
thank you to Margoon for donating 5 gift subscriptions.
Let's go.
Let's go.
And there was another army that I was going to say. I forgot. And Slanesh. Like I understand Slanesh have been doing well, but like I think that's a fringe case.
I think it's a fringe case because the Incarnate exists.
Yeah.
And also Anthony Trentinelli's incredible.
Yeah, that's like that's what I mean. Like the fringe
those
case.
two things.
Like
those two things. Like FEC as well. Yeah.
I actually think FEC is really good in this edition.
Do you?
Yeah.
What? I can't agree with that. Where?
Like you can. No one's actually playing it.
I mean, it went 4-1 recently. Last week it went 4-1.
Like if you because you can threat saturate and then just score primary. Like I think they're okay. Like I wouldn't put them in my bottom. Like because the thing is like they could still do 3-2. I think every army at the moment could do a 3-2.
Which is good because that gives you a positive win rate potential.
Yeah.
Like and I think that's quite interesting. I agree as well. I think there's also a bunch of new players, a load of casual players. So like if you practice and play a lot, then I think that's going to put you in a good place as well.
I think lower drops is still the best thing in the world. Like,
of course.
I would bin off if anyone's taking bounty hunters, bin it off. Just go in battle regiment. Like stop trying to be a 4-drop, 1 battle regiment and bounty hunters. Just do a 1-drop.
Yeah.
Like,
unless you can't fit it in which case then I would move.
Yeah, the only time like I put bounty hunters is literally if I've got 2 units left.
Like I think if you're not doing battle regiment, I don't hate going because you still get even if you have a 3-drop based on the stats. So if you've got a 1-drop, you've got an 88% chance of going first.
Yep.
Yeah, or at least like up to a roll off. If you're a 2-drop, it's 80%. And if you're a 3-drop, so double battle regiment, then if you're a 3-drop, it goes down to 67, and a 4-drop is 67, right? So like, I think you can still be pretty happy with like a 3. Because 67 is not bad, but like, I agree with you. I would always do a battle regiment first. But like I think there's some really good opportunities to be like, actually, do I want bounty hunters or do I want unmatched conquerors? Because sometimes when I look at a list, and it's just got like a unit of 5 or a unit of 10 that's in unmatched conquerors. I actually think, do you know what? Because they're 30 on that objective, they're annoying as hell.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like that's a thing.
But if you can 1, 2, 3 drop, just do that.
Yeah.
Like.
For anyone who's tuned in, by the way, for the stat show, we'll be doing that later on today. Me and Adam were just hanging out, so we thought we'd record this, especially as he had some really unique experiences at a Warhammer World event, and people around the world are going to get an opportunity to hear what it's like playing there, which I think is fun. I don't know when yet. It's too hot in my office, and so basically I'm avoiding going in there because I hate fops. The worst bit is being on stream and just sweating. It's just gross. So anyway.
Right here, it's not too bad, right?
Adam, any final thoughts before we head out?
Just buy more cockatrices.
That's a good final thought. Chat.
And I think the funniest part is the narrative for a cockatrice.
What is the narrative?
They're solitary animals.
So having a herd or a flock is not correct. It's not correct. Yeah. All right. Well, you can follow Adam on Twitter. I'll include his link to his bio below. And thanks, Adam. Any kind of shout outs you want to do before we go?
Math Mallow.
Of course.
I love him.
Of course you love him. That's correct. My thank you to everyone in the chat. If you've been watching on YouTube, then please do leave some comments and subscribe. And if you listen to this on podcast, please stay hydrated, look after yourselves. Loads of love, and see you soon.